What up, everybody? Hey, welcome to the Moving the Military podcast, where we're going to continue one of my favorite series going on right now, the conversation on going from invisible to inevitable, and we are on episode 10. That's right. We have consistently kicked out 10 different episodes right now, and as always, hey, I'm the co-host, Matt Grudel, and I'm here with my friend, co-founder, co-host, you know her, you love her, the hostess with the mostest. I think she likes that I say that.
I think
Dina Watson.
I think we should poll if people actually love me, because I'm the contrarian on this podcast. You're the voice of excitement and amplification, and I'm like, yeah, that ain't happening.
Well, I think that here's the thing. Here's the thing that you and I know from doing this for so long together is that the yin and the yang, the back and the forth, people love both sides of it. So
I think they just like watching our dysfunctional relationship.
They do, absolutely. I think they're like, yeah, that relationship's fucked.
We don't know if we're educating or entertaining, but we'll be here for either one.
Yeah, so we're talking about invisible to inevitable, right? And as I was thinking about today's call, one of the things that fascinates me, Dina, and it absolutely fascinates me in the military real estate niche, is how quickly trust can actually form. You see it all the time, right? Military families, they go to a new duty station, they've never met the agent, they've never seen a house with him or her, but somehow, for some reason, they already trust them. And then you have and then you have other agents that are absolutely capable, that have skill, that have experience, that are hardworking, and the military families hesitate. Like, they hesitate to talk to them, right? So let's talk about that today, and like, why are some agents earning and gaining that trust instantly?
Well, I think there might be I guess I'll ask, like, how deep down this bunny trail are we going today? Are we?
I think let's start snorkeling, and we'll start snorkeling. We'll get to a scuba. We may even get down to scuba in a tunnel, flashlight out. We're out of oxygen. The rope is cut.
What's that thing that went down for the Titanic? Are we getting in that thing today?
No, you know me. I'll do it, right? Yeah. I'm not looking to implode today.
Okay. All right. So ask your question again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and I'll ask it this way. So I'm going to ask it in a way like this. So I want you to come from your perspective, right? Your perspective as a high-level coach, your perspective as an agent in the military niche, your perspective from a military team, a team owner that had military employees as well as did the military niche, and what I'm going to call, and you absolutely are, a trusted authority. So why does trust work differently in the military community compared to the general real estate market? Because there's a difference.
Well, the easiest answer, that's actually the truest answer with no drama, is because the military breeds skepticism. So I have not served, but I have lived and have loved and have been in a marriage with someone who currently is still serving for a very long time. Obviously have many friends who are in the military, but the one thing I will tell you is that trust is harder to earn with people in the military. And the reason for that is because as a military, like, family, even a military spouse, and definitely the service member, the military breeds this level of skepticism, and I can't believe anything until we're literally doing the thing.
Yeah.
So if you break that into two sides, and we've got the veteran side and then we've got the spouse side, the military veteran is taught to have your head on a swivel, and Matt, you can talk to this more. So maybe I'll actually let you take that, and I'll take the spouse side. So what is the veteran perspective on why are military veterans harder to earn trust with?
Well, I think, one, we're absolutely skeptical, number one, like you said. Number two, we are absolutely, and I don't want to say we're not risk adverse because we take risk, but we literally we do a risk analysis or risk assessment on everything, right? You're coming in, we're sitting in a certain seat, right? We're looking at you from a risk perspective, like literally, how much risk am I willing to take with this person, right? So we're looking at it that way because, like you said, our head is on a swivel. We are already in the defensive posture, figuring out how do we protect ourselves, how do we protect our loved ones, all of that. I think on the flip side, though, for us veterans, trust, it moves faster. It's harder to earn, but it moves faster based on the fact that we have shared experience. And I think that that's something so powerful. Trust moves, it's harder to earn. because we are skeptical, because we are looking at things from a risk perspective. But shared experience is why immediately I have a level of trust with you that I do not have with somebody that has not served, even though they may be absolutely better skilled, great at what they do. Because when we serve together, when we deploy together, when we move together, when we fight together, when we live together, that trust barrier is already lower.
Yeah. The other thing that's kind of coming to mind for me that how do we put this? There's this weird dichotomy with you guys between like, you have this whole group of people who want to be loud about please, you guys don't take any offense to this, but we take pride, specifically I take pride in not blowing hot air up your skirts and like telling you the truth for what it is, not what PC, like political correctness would be. So I think that there's two types of veterans that I have seen. Okay? And everybody's like, what's she about to say? There's the type that wears their veteranism loud and proud, and their accolades are like out for the world to see, and they are going to tell you that they are a veteran. Mm-hmm. There's the other side, which much like you, Matt, who puts all of what you've done in this box, and it becomes what you've done, not who you are. And you almost don't want to talk about it. It's like, there are many of you that I have met that have done some amazing, amazing, amazing things, and you don't want to share that. You don't want to showcase it. You don't want anybody to know. But I also think that hurts trust and credibility in a way. And this is going to kind of fall off a cliff real fast, so be prepared, buckle up. I think it tears away at trust and credibility because of one thing. Somebody else, who, to use y'all's terms, is as high speed as you, oftentimes doesn't actually appreciate, or what's the word I'm looking for? They don't
Respect?
They don't respect. They don't want to build trust bridges to people who haven't done as much as they have. And I'm trying to tread so fucking lightly right now, but they don't trust people who haven't done as much as they have. I'm going to give you an example that's going on in real time, like today, right now. So there's this whole trend on TikTok going on right now. And Matt, you may have seen it, where it's this whole, like, if Uncle Sam calls, the veterans are going to rise up and go back to war. And everyone's putting on their dress blues, their class A, whatever. But guess what's happening in the comments? Guess what's happening in the comments of these videos?
Probably 90. I'm going to bet I'll bet a lot to say that, hey, they're the people that do not have combat experience, yes. Right? The people that don't have those accolades, that don't have multiple different combat. They're counting the
stripes on the deployment side of the sleeves. They're counting the ranks. These people are savage. And this is I'll bring it back to real estate in a minute, but like, these people are analyzing every ribbon, every star, every deployment stripe, everything. And in the comments, the people who've done some shit are calling out the people who really haven't. So like, you're going to put yours on for the podcast? Oh my God. You have that. Is that like hanging up over there?
It's there, man. I mean, you know what I mean?
Decorated. Sure. I'm happy to know you.
We could throw it on there. I mean, we can got
you
rack.
Should do the trend. You should
we got the everything combat. We got more combats. We got more combat stripes than years in service.
All right, so you're gonna stay in that for the rest of the podcast.
Let's do it.
Okay, so people in this.
But here's the great. Hold on, I want to step back for a second.
Hold on.
I want to step back at 52.
That's the other thing that people are doing, Matt, is they're fat guy little coating each other. They're like, you couldn't put that coat back on if you tried. So I'm going to bring this back to real estate in just a second. But here's what happens. Those of you who've done some shit and are as decorated as the man who you're seeing on the screen, you hide behind, I don't want people to know because I'm proud, but I can keep it to myself. And what's happening internally is what's actually happening on the TikTok trend right now, where people are saying, I don't want to work with, I want to work with a veteran, but I want to work with someone who's my peer.
Yeah.
And so I know this sucks and I'm sorry, but like, that's just the way people operate. And we're here to help you understand human psychology and sales. And so when you guys hide behind all of it and you just say, oh yeah, I served, but you don't share something that will tell them that we are equals.
Yeah.
You are tearing away at the trust deposits that you could have if you'd step out front a little more.
Well, the fact that I'll say things, and we'll keep with this topic, the fact that I'll say things when I'm sending referral messages out, the fact that it says Command Sergeant Major retired, people want to work with that guy because I got to a certain level and they automatically have credibility of trust with me. We're already paired up. And we were just on a call a couple of weeks ago where someone noticed something behind me and they were asking about it. And I don't say nothing about it. And you even said after, like, Matt, like, you never even told me about that, right?
Because we've been on calls for 3 years, 4 times a week, and I've never even heard you say anything about it.
So I think you're absolutely right. It's that credibility, right? That shared service, that shared experience that allows trust to move faster. And like you said, and when you actually talk about your accolades, not in a braggadocious way, but in a way that is like, hey, like, this is, I've seen some shit, I've done some shit, and because of that, we can connect, and I can help carry you through this journey. It does it. And that's the veteran side, Dina. So let's talk about the spouse side. Let's get the heat off of Matt. Let's put the spouse side. Why does that trust build so fast?
You did say you'd wear that for the rest of the podcast, so I'm a little mad you took it off, but we'll move on. But for the record, I really hope you jump on that TikTok trend before it goes away. You'll get a ton of views and probably a bunch of likes. I guarantee you could double your followers on
My
TikTok.
DMs will fill probably not in a way that I want them to fill. So.
But they're still filling, and you're filling the algorithm. So you're becoming inevitable, Matthew. We're teaching people invisibility right now. Come on. Okay. We're gonna
on the spouse side.
Yeah. So on the spouse side, the trust bridge is a little different because on the spouse side, the skepticism comes from, I hate this about the military or the military spouse community, and I don't know how to get it to stop, but in the military spouse community, there's this hesitance for vulnerability. Like, nobody wants to say, I am here, I need help, I blah, blah, blah. Because there's this idea that I think is probably not true if you're in the right circles. There's this idea that if I expose myself in that way, people are going to talk about me and the military spouse rumor mill will start. And so it's easier to just not say anything about it, or it's easy to put your spousehood on the, military spousehood on the back burner. And then there's two types of military spouses, right? You've got the people who are loud and proud and they get labeled a dependa. And then you've got the people who are quiet and secretive about it. Much like myself, I fall into the second category. But I guarantee you I can make a lot more money and I could impact a lot more people if I were willing to, like, splay that out front and tell people what I am and what we've gone through and help that be like a beacon of hope for somebody. So I guess I'll say this and we'll wrap it up. Like, the trust part of it kind of comes from, you have to be willing to share your experience for other people to feel like they can trust you because of the same type of shared experience. Like, a veteran's always, you guys get over it, a veteran's always going to work with a veteran, right? Unless the military spouse proves otherwise. Yeah. A spouse is always going to feel more comfortable with a spouse. So you have to share and showcase that in order for trust to start being built.
Well, and I think here's the thing. If I was to sum this up in, let's just call it a punchline, right? I would say something like this. Like, in military communities, trust doesn't spread slowly. It spreads through stories, and stories spread fast. And that story is the spouse story. Whether it's vulnerable or not, the exposure, the experience, the things that you've actually been through together. Because we've shared some shit, right? We're connected. And so it spreads fast, but it spreads through stories, and stories spread fast. So what we're saying is, to go from invisible to inevitable, it's okay to tell your story. Just do it in a non-braggadocious, I don't know why I'm stuck on that word today, but I am, in that type of way, right? Here's something else that...
Go real quick and then we'll move on. You have to go from, nobody knows me because I don't know how to use this story to impact people, so invisible, to visible first. Before you get to inevitable, we have to step one step forward, which is like, am I going to allow myself to be truly seen for my experiences because other people would be attracted to that? And I know for many people, because there are some people, in your case, Matt, you've done a lot of stuff, but there are also some people who are ashamed of their veteranhood or ashamed of their spousehood or ashamed that they never deployed or they got hurt or they couldn't serve or whatever. And I will tell you, the people that we have met who are willing to put that aside and like step forward into their own story, whatever that may be, the more people find them, because there are so many of us out there. And if nobody knows, nobody knows. So you got to just step into the light a little bit, I think.
So trust in the military community, the military niche moves extremely fast, right? We're talking about that. But here's the other thing that fascinates me is that sometimes military families will trust an agent before they've even talked to them.
Yeah.
Right? What's happening there?
You know what? I actually built my business off of the answer to this question, and we built our team off this, so I love this question. People have to know how you think and how you behave and how you sound and how you act in order to build that bridge of familiarity. So the more you showcase yourself on the internet, and this sounds really weird because we're talking about a group of people who inevitably have trust issues, putting themselves out front, loud and proud on the internet to total strangers. So I understand there's already friction, but if we skip the friction and just go straight to the answer, if you put yourself, the way you think, the way you sound, the way you act, how you think about things, the process you follow, all of that being front and center over and over and over and over and over again, people don't need to speak to you because they already know you based on what you've shared. So,
and they're already attracted to you. And they're already attracted to you because one thing about one thing about this profession is this. Anybody can go get a license, right? Yeah. C's get you degrees, go get a license. But the people that resonate with you, the people that when you're putting it out there, they're attracted to you and what you do, whether it's a hobby. Man, you love to go BMX bike, go BMX bike, because the BMX bikers are automatically going to feel connected to you. Skateboard, do cars, whatever it is.
Well, the other thing that I think is happening that no one sees, so they just don't think about it, is the people who aren't attracted to the way that you operate just never call. So it kind of comes into this echo chamber, which is a word we used last week, where you think that like everybody that calls you wants to work with you. But if you're online long enough, people are calling you because they've already had enough experience and exposure to you that they know they want to work with you. And everyone who doesn't like the way that you do things just turns it off and calls somebody else. Yeah. So I think that that's why it feels.
And you probably don't. And let's just be honest. I mean, we're honest and transparent. You know what I mean? 2 tears in a bucket. Here's the thing: like the people that aren't already attracted to you for whatever that is, you probably don't want to do business with them anyways. And the great thing about this profession is you actually get to choose who you work with.
Well, I'll tell you a small story that makes this all make like total sense. This was like 5 years ago, and I hope she's listening to this podcast. I highly doubt it, but I won't name her, but I hope she's listening. About 5 years ago, no, it's probably 6 or 7 years ago now. It was right before COVID. Whenever I was newly minted as a one-on-one coach for real estate agents, I'd been coaching maybe 2 years at that point, but still at 2 years, you're just figuring it out. Like you don't know what you don't know. So I was trying to do everything against my better judgment in a box for the company I worked for. And like at this company, you don't cuss, you don't say things in slang. Like it was very prim and proper. And y'all have been with us for 10 episodes. I'm not prim or proper. So I got fired. So I had this client for like 2 months. And they also like at this coaching company, they're watching your retention rates. And if your retention slides below a certain number, you're on the hot seat to get fired and let go. And so every client who fired you was like a big deal at that time. And so I got fired. I go to my coach who was coaching me on coaching, and I freaking out. And I was like, I got fired. And he goes, well, why did they fire you? And I said, because I said, damn it, in a call, or I said shit or like a low PG level cuss word. And he goes, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, they fired me because I said a cuss word. He said, well, then why the fuck didn't you cuss from the beginning? They would have never hired you. And it was this moment of clarity for me of like, if I don't expose people to who I actually am out of the gate, when they get behind the gate and they see me for who I really am, the trust bridge is now broken and they're firing me or moving on. And so that's why like I drop cuss words in everything that I do now, because I don't want you to think I'm this well put together person on the outside and you get behind my gate of business and you hear me say fuck and you're like, whoa, what is this? And who is she? I say that anyway.
Yeah, I'm a hot mess with good people in my life. So
Yeah, I know, but that's the point of it is like you have to showcase who you are so that by the time someone gets behind the gate of online videos and everything they've seen of you, they already know they want to work with you. You don't actually compete in that space. Which I think is also really important to mention is the more you showcase who you are, the more exposure somebody gets to you before ever meeting you. You are not competing for that person's business and you're not having to prove yourself because you've already done that online. And now once they're behind the gate, they already know they want to work with you.
I think the other piece of it too is that we don't talk enough about when we think about authority and why a military family will literally trust an agent or somebody they've never met. It's borrowed credibility. I don't think we give enough power to borrowed credibility, right? When someone in a military community, when they already trust and recommend you, you inherit automatically that portion of trust. When somebody in a group, a leadership, a neighborhood, when they say, call Dina, Dina's not starting at zero. Dina is already starting at a level of credibility. I mean, think about it this way, Dina. How many times have agents or consumers reached out to us and asked for a name? A ton. I guarantee you. Yeah, I guarantee you 99, and I will bet 99.99% of the people that we give a name to use that name, that person. Why? Because the credibility established from us being an authority and giving that name already empowers that person, right? And so it goes to everything we're talking about. To invisible to inevitable, you have to become visible. And when you have shared experience and when you talk about the story, well, then people will recommend you, right? It's that borrowed credibility. It goes back to something we talk about all the time. It's that piece of collateral that you have shared with somebody that was so freaking good. It was so damn good that they used it, something happened, and they shared it again. That's borrowed credibility. And borrowed credibility goes so far in starting or opening the door for trust to happen. It doesn't guarantee trust, but it opens the door a hell of a lot faster.
It's the difference between it's yours to win versus yours to lose. So whenever you go, they used to make us chant, this listing is mine if I want it, which is whatever. Loved it when I was, anyway. So at this point though, like to your point, 3 days ago, I saw someone post in a Facebook group of like, hey, I'm looking for someone in this area. I saw 5 or 6 people comment, don't know any of them, but I do know one person. I put the 2 of them in a group chat and I said, hey, make magic happen. Here's who I would recommend in this city. Have at it. I am 99.9% positive that they will work together. But at that point, it is hers to lose.
Yeah.
She already has it because of borrowed credibility. But whatever happens next is on her, and it's her referral to lose. And so I think that there's a difference in positioning. We talk a lot about positioning in this series, but it's a difference in how is the agent positioned from the beginning. Are they positioned as someone that you should work with and then it's theirs to lose? Or are you interviewing this person and they have to prove themselves to you, meaning it's theirs to win? And so it's just like a slight difference, but it makes all the difference, I think.
I lost you there for a second. What'd you say?
I know. We're good. I think we can move on. I just said it's like a slight difference, but
hey, we just keep rolling. Here's the thing that, and it can go lots of different ways, but authority grows when other people carry your reputation and share your collateral, right? That is how you actually build that instant credibility and that instant trust. So as we always do, Dina, as we go through this, let's flip this around. Okay, why do you think it is that agents struggle to build that kind of trust in the military market? We've talked about how to build it, what they are, but why do you think they struggle to actually build it?
Because they don't understand that there's actually a process that they should be following in order for that to happen. This doesn't just magically show up. And so, we try what we can to not pitch on this podcast because we want it to be really purely value driven, but we have in Moving the Military a coaching program. It's a group coaching program and also self-paced learning for what is the actual art and science behind crafting authority. We call it the authority method, and it's our years of experience not only building our own authority but watching other people and helping other people build theirs. And we've turned it into this framework. And so I think the answer simply to your question is that people don't know that there's actually a repeatable process and a proven process that anyone from like, and I'll even, anyone can follow, and I'll make case in point. Every one of us listening to this has an agent in their market that came in hot out of nowhere and just took territory from nothing. Like they were brand new. No one knew who they were. They were brand new as an agent in general. And I was that person. I went to top 5% in my marketplace in my first year of living there. And it was just because there's a method and a process that you can follow, no matter how new you are, to go from zero to hero super quick. And I think that's the answer in a nutshell. They don't know that there's a process they can follow.
They don't know there's a process. Yeah, they don't know there's a process, and they haven't identified, and I think the other thing too is when we talk about invisible and inevitable and gaining visibility, they haven't identified what is the authority gap. They may be great at transactions, they may be great, but they're not visible in the conversation, right? Military families outside of...
That's part of the process is identifying the gap, yeah.
That's it, because the military families, they never see your expertise. They never connect you to be that military relocation expert, right? They don't see that you're solving more than just real estate problems.
Well, the other thing to remember, especially if you're in an active duty area, they have to find someone before they arrive. So they have to build trust with someone through the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, if you're not on the internet proving that you're trustable, they can't find you. You actually are playing a zero-sum game. And so just remember that, especially if you're active duty military base, they have to watch videos, go in social media groups, search on YouTube. They don't have an option. They're not from there moving down the street. They're moving from across the country or even across the globe. So if you don't have anything out front proving your concepts and you're not sharing and showcasing things through the internet, you have no chance at getting that business, because by the time they land in your city for you to meet them at a coffee shop, they've already picked somebody. So what you see a lot of times is, and I hate that I'm even saying this, but 2 tiers in a bucket, right? You'll see them land with agents who are idiots, like complete morons, because the moron is smart enough to know that I got to be on the internet, but they're terrible as real estate agents.
I am absolutely not skilled in my profession whatsoever,
Right.
but I can put out a damn good video that gets a lot of looky-loos and followers, and then that's not, yeah.
It happens everywhere, at every base, at every city.
Well, because here's the thing. You might be absolutely fantastic with military clients. Like, you are literally fantastic with military clients. But if the community doesn't know that, if they do not see that, you're invisible. You are going to remain invisible, because here's the truth. Trust follows visibility. If you remember anything, trust follows visibility. And visibility follows clarity when you're clear about the things that you're solving, when you're clear about why you're the relocation expert, when you're clear on how to answer and provide value and ask all those questions, right? So I don't care how fantastic you are with military clients. If nobody knows it, you're invisible, right? And you're going to stay invisible, right? Because trust follows visibility.
And something else I'll say, just to make this hit from a different direction, if you are falling in the invisibility category, okay, I'm going to say this nicely, but I don't mean it nicely. You not putting yourself and your own self-interest in the background and stepping forward is actually causing military service members to have to work with the idiots that are known versus the professionals that are unknown. So a lot of times we think we are saving ourselves and saving embarrassment. And so we're like, oh, well, nobody knows and it'll be fine and whatever. But what's actually happening is you not being brave enough to step out front when you are the best is forcing people to pick from subpar agents because they're the only ones that people see.
I'll say it in a not so nice way. The fact that you don't want to identify the gap, you don't want to become the authority, is not just hurting your business. You're doing a disservice to everybody you actually say you want to help. So keep being invisible and keep doing a disservice to the people that you care the most about, because that's what you're doing.
But I also will say this, you can't say rightly that you care about military families' experiences in real estate if you're unwilling to step forward and help them have an option for honest, integrous military real estate agents, because what's happening is we say, oh, I care about the veteran, I care about the service member, I care about their process, but I'm unwilling to show myself.
Yeah.
Those two things don't coexist. They can't. No. So if you're unwilling to step forward into your own greatness, stop saying that you care deeply about this level of service in this industry, because you can't. You can't have both things at the same time. It's just not possible.
It doesn't work that way. Okay, we are hit the 30-minute mark.
With the 2 viewers that we have left after the last 5 minutes.
That's it. After everybody else bailed, so for the 2 people that remained on here, because we are so controversial at times, hey, we're at the 30-minute mark, and here's what we do. We always, because, and I love to say this, and Dina hates the fact that I Yoda everything, information without implementation is really self-deception. And so you've been listening, and so what we try to do, or actually what we do, because we don't try shit, is we actually give you something to implement. So Dina, I'm going to start with you. So if someone was listening to this podcast, the remaining 2 viewers, and they're like, okay, what's one thing that I could start today, simple, what would you tell them?
Teach something. And I mean anything, okay? Because the more you put yourself out to, and I don't mean teach at your VFW down the street. While you can do that, that doesn't actually solve the problem. And if you have to start there, that's okay. If you have to start teaching to 5 people to get confidence, that's fine. But I would say pick something that you know really well in the real estate industry, in the military space, and make a commitment every single month to teach it at least one time to other people. Because people assume that the instructor is the expert.
That's me.
And this me. Hate that I even said that. I hate that word, you guys. I cannot stand the acronym. Drives it. I always think about that really fat dude from Captain Hook. Every time Matt says SME, my spouse side not caring about the military acronyms, I'm like, all I see is the fat dude from Captain Hook, and he's not an expert in it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I'm going to go and put on my big-ass calendar over here, right? No promo to them. I'm going to put my big-ass calendar that today I got Dina to say SME. That's a win for me. I'm stacking that win all week. So go teach something.
Go teach something, because human psychology, once again, just remember too, we're in a business of working with people. So if you don't understand how people purchase, that's also kind of a challenge. But I will give you, I guess, a little tip is people usually will look at a positional authority and grant them actual authority because they think that they're an authority because of their position. Yeah. So when you step forward and you say, I'm going to make a commitment to teach every single month for the next 12 months, and you teach something really targeted inside of the military space, in 12 months, people will automatically assume that you know what you're talking about because you've talked about it so many times in public. So that's what I would say. Matt, what would you say?
I would say, so that is authority level positioning, right? And that's part of what we do. I would build upon that, and I think that is exactly the right thing. I would say the same thing. Go out there and teach something, right? But here's the way I would flip it. Become known for understanding the life realities of military families, right? Understand that, not just real estate. And I love to say it, Dina, you're not a real estate agent, you're a lifestyle concierge. So when you go out there and teach something that's an actual friction point in the realities of military families. Because the agent who wins in the military niche understands, and hear me, please, write this down. They understand the human side of the PCS move, not just the housing side. So teach the housing side, but also teach the reality of that move. Understand the human side, because it will make you an authority. It will position you as somebody that doesn't just sell real estate.
Well, and you also, I want to make sure to add a detail here. You have to understand the human side, not just your side.
Yes.
Because my reality over the last 15 years is actually not the reality of most big Army families, because I can't be moved all over the country. I can only be moved to one other place, and then I come back where I started. And so, if you are a spouse that's special forces, special operations, SEALs, whatever, understand we don't have the same reality as Matt's wife did when Matt was moving all over the place. We have different deployment cycles. We have different train-up cycles. We have different everything. Our world is, quite frankly, a lot more flexible and just roll with the punches than Matt's was. So I think that just remember, you have to be the expert, not the expert on your experience. Yeah. And there's a vast difference between those two things, because also remember, if you're my age, you're almost 40, your reality of military life today is not what you're understanding. You've got to remember who you were 15 years ago and go speak to that person to understand where they are coming from. So I'll just add that little detail. You're 100% correct. I just want to make sure people don't miss that.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I love what you said, because it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about them. And so understand, because like I said, my experience, right, and what I did is not the same as what my son is going through right now, right? And so I've got to understand things from his perspective as a young E5 promotable in the Army compared to retired CSM that's been retired since 2015, right? There's a difference. So as we end the podcast, I want to ask a question. I want you to really think about this, to the final listeners that are out there with us, right?
The 2 people we have left.
That's it. I want you to think about your military market right now. Think about your military market right now. When military families ask for help, because they're asking for help, if they haven't yet, they're getting ready to start. Does your name come up, or are you stuck still trying to introduce yourself? That's how you know if you're invisible, right? Hey, we love you. Thank you for being at the podcast. We'll see you next week.
Next time.